What's up, Skyhawks? Welcome back to the Skyhawk Talk. I'm your host, Catherine Sweeney, and today I am here with the senior captain of women's tennis, Madison Warren. Woohoo!
Thank you.
Welcome on. I'm excited.
Yes, me too.
Okay, let's get right into things. I want to know what's something about your personality that shows up immediately when people meet you first.
Well, I would definitely say I'm very smiley.
Smiley?
Yeah.
I love that. You have a beautiful smile.
Thank you. But yeah, I would say that's probably number one thing that shows up.
Yeah?
When I first meet people, especially new people. So
yeah, awesome. So getting a little bit into tennis. When you walk onto the court before a match, what kind of energy do you try and bring with you?
Definitely fun energy. I think tennis is hard. It's a really mental sport. So I think just walking out with a ton of energy from the start is really, really important. And yeah, that's really what I try to bring. Just a lot of fun, because that's what it's supposed to be, is fun.
Yeah. Are you someone that likes routines, or do you kind of just go with the flow before a match?
No, definitely routine oriented. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've definitely had the same routine since I was even younger. My parents would always get me Starbucks before a match, and so that's even continued going into college. But very routine. I don't like it when it's just all over the place.
What's your go-to Starbucks order?
I would say it's probably the strawberry acai refresher. And then depending on the day, I'll get a breakfast sandwich or something like that. So
do you get water in it, or lemonade, or
no,
green tea?
lemonade?
I'm also a lemonade girl.
I can't do the water.
I can't either. There's just not enough flavor.
No.
Do you get berries in it or no?
It depends. My sister kind of introduced me to it without berries, so it depends. But I'm not I know some people hate the berries, so I'm
not a berry girl.
No, I kind of like them. They're kind of do you like dried strawberries regular or no?
Yeah, regular totally fine. Okay. In the drinks,
I
feel like they get soggy and stuff.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Okay. I kind of want to go back to when you were a kid and first getting into tennis. You told me that tennis wasn't really the norm sport growing up. So what did you like about doing something different than everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I think tennis is not you don't think of really tennis as a sport that a lot of kids play. I feel like I'm soccer, basketball, that sort of thing. I would say that it was different in the sense that it was kind of a more single sport. Growing up, when you are playing junior tournaments, it's very individual. So you show up, you might go to a practice place with your coach, and you kind of practice with people. But once you go to tournaments, you're kind of on your own. So I kind of like that aspect. But I think moving to college, it's been great having a team. So I would say definitely more just motivation, individually, and I guess getting to have that growing up.
So you were just saying, it's definitely an individual sport.
For sure.
Did you like that pressure early on?
Yes and no. I also played lacrosse growing up. My parents were really big into doing two sports, one individual, one with a team. And so there were some times where I was man, I really love lacrosse because it was a team sport. And then there were times where I was okay, this is getting old. So then I went to tennis, but it's definitely a different type of pressure, but it's also just a lot on yourself, because it's you're showing up for yourself and not necessarily other people. So I think it takes a lot of self-motivation.
Do you think you kind of took from being in a team environment from lacrosse and took some of those skills to apply to tennis, or vice versa, if you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that you kind of come out with a individual mentality. I need to show up and do my job, at least for lacrosse. I need to show up and do my job, but I also have to support other people. And then the same goes kind of reverse, just understanding that, yes, you're out there alone, but you can't put all the pressure on yourself, because if you do, not going to turn out too good.
yeah, for sure. Okay, awesome. What did you play? What position in lacrosse?
I played defense in lacrosse.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Was there a moment when you were growing up playing tennis where you realized, okay, I'm pretty good at this, I could go somewhere with this?
I would say growing up, I didn't really have an exact moment. It was kind of talked about. Like I said, I played the two sports, and then when I was in high school, my first year of high school, it was kind of that's also when COVID happened. So it was kind of lacrosse got shut down, and kind of tennis was it moving forward. I would say when I was younger, I got to go to a lot of places. I got to go to Florida a bunch and play big tournaments. So those were really cool events that I enjoyed. And I really always enjoyed going to college tennis matches. So I was I think this is something that I want to do moving forward. But I wouldn't say there's a specific moment in time that I can remember.
Yeah. So I know you've experienced a team sport before, and tennis is very unique because it's individual, but you compete as a team. now that you're here at Stonehill, obviously. So how do you kind of balance that out when you were so used to it being such an individual sport and now you're sort of a part of a team?
Yeah, I think it's a huge, huge change. Like I was saying, like when you go from juniors to being in college, it's like totally different because now you have to support yourself, but you have to support the 5 other girls that are out there with you. So I think it was a little bit of a learning curve. I would say it was like, okay, I might have lost my match, but I have to go cheer on my teammates. But I think it's a really good skill to have because you realize, unfortunately, that it's not all about you all the time. So learning that for tennis and for life. But I think just coming here and getting to be with a great group of girls has been really helpful in like that transition period.
Do you feel more pressure in singles or doubles?
I've got to say for me doubles, just because you have somebody out there that you're kind of like, you're with. So it's like, for me, I feel like when it's singles, I can just put it on me and it's my problem. But like when you have somebody else out there with you, it's like, no, like I don't really want to mess it up for them too. But I think, that's also like just communication with your partner is super important.
Which do you prefer more, singles or doubles?
Singles for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's also a bit longer, and you have like some time to kind of like get your bearings before doubles is really quick. So if you don't come out strong, then it's hard to come back.
What kind of goes through your head when the momentum shifts during a match?
I would say it's definitely a lot of like kind of just having to like bring myself back down. Like I think tennis is like you can go through like really big momentum like swings. So I think what always helps me is just kind of like taking a few deep breaths and like kind of restarting, going back to like things that I know will work, and like skills that I've learned like all throughout growing up. I would say I've also like there used to be like a sports psychologist guy here that I like worked with, and so I did some like imagery stuff with him. So that seems to also help just kind of like envisioning like how I want to hit the ball and things. So
yeah. All right, cool. So that kind of like answered my next question, which was how do you mentally reset in between points when things might not be going your way in a match?
Yeah, I would say definitely like imagery helps. I would say I really have to like take a step back and like, okay, like let's chill out for a second and then I can kind of proceed. But I know everybody kind of deals with it differently. So I don't know, it's really important, especially just the amount of matches we play that like you can't be on yourself on like all the time. So yeah, I would say definitely an important skill that I've learned.
Yeah, for sure. So you are originally from Maryland, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So how has being away from home, which is not very close to here, how has being away from home and living in a whole new state been for you and like taught you about yourself?
Oh yeah, I would say that was one of the reasons I came up here, was just because like I knew it was going to be really different. It was going to challenge me in different ways. It's been fun. I hate the cold. It's been tough. I could tell that from like I didn't like the cold anyways, but I can tell you coming here, I'm 100% over it.
It's very cold recently.
Yeah, a little too cold, but I would say just like knowing that I can go other places and like do things like without having like not my parents necessarily there, but just not having that close proximity, I think was really good for me because it caused me to really like branch out and really think for myself. So I think it's been a really good opportunity for me.
I love it. Yeah. Awesome. So kind of looking back into just transitioning into Division I, is there something about playing Division I when you're first coming here that you maybe weren't prepared for or kind of had it? Like, again, like you were saying, you went from playing individually in juniors to playing on a team. So anything that maybe you had to be like, oh, okay, got to figure this out.
I would say just like the pressure you put on yourself, like mentally. I think that like you are now walking into a world where it's different. Like college is so different than like high school for like athletes and non-athletes. So then to put on top of that, just like the sheer amount of tennis we play, it's just like you have to find kind of coping mechanisms, and you can't. Like, I feel like sometimes we identify ourselves with our sport, and unfortunately for me, I can't really do that because I feel like if I did, it would just become too overwhelming. So I think really finding like a balance between like doing things with friends but also focusing on like my sport was definitely like kind of a challenge, especially just coming from like high school and totally different life.
When you first walked onto the lineup here, did you feel confident right away, or did that have to kind of build up over time?
No, that definitely built up over time, I would say. I would say that it was kind of hard at first because you're walking in and you're like, oh, I'm a freshman. Like, what's the lay of the land? I have no idea who these people are. So I think it definitely took some time, to build some confidence. Yeah.
So something that you told me that you really care about is mental health in athletics. Why is that so important to you?
Yeah, mental health is huge, and I think that it's really, it's not talked about enough. I mean, it is, but I think we go through a lot. We have a ton of pressure on we put a lot of pressure on ourselves in our sport, and to be able to balance just like that not consuming you, I feel like it's something I've gone through personally, and it sucks. Like, it's like, wow, like I can't put my whole identity in this sport. And so I think, but a lot of us deal with that pressure like silently. And so, when we're going to practice every day and we're going to matches and everything, it can become a lot. And so I think that's one thing that I just like, I hope that people not necessarily even reach out, but just know that like other people do struggle with that. So I think that's something that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah. And like you were saying before, you talked to a sports psychologist and you've kind of redefined your mentality with imagery and other things. Is there a tactic other than maybe imagery that you really like to go to if you're having a really tough time and you're feeling a lot of pressure on yourself, just to reset?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me personally, I always take things out of the context that I'm in. I would say that and what I mean by that is more just looking at, I am really grateful that I get to be here. I think that I do a lot of like volunteering and stuff outside of like tennis. And like, that's one big thing that I really care about, and something that my parents really instilled in me. But I think just saying that this is a sport, this is a tennis match. Like, at the end of the day, you're playing with a ball and like a stick pretty much, and you're hitting a ball over the net. And so in the grand scheme of things, like, it's not going to affect, like, what you do today is not going to affect you like 20 years down the line. It's not going to affect the amount of homework you have. So I think for me, I really just have to put it in perspective as to like what I'm doing.
Yeah. So speak of your parents, they are both principals. Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how has growing up in that environment shaped your discipline?
Oh, high discipline. I would say just like growing up with parents in education and understanding the education system, academics were always first. So I think that was something that was instilled in me really, really early, and I'm glad it was. But I think that just growing up in a household, kind of knowing, I think it was helpful because it was like they helped me to learn, like they're educators at heart. Like, so, like things like natural consequences and like what happens if you don't do something, I think were really like easy to figure out, I guess. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, I would say it was fun. It was a fun time.
Do you think watching them lead schools influenced how you showed up as a teammate?
Oh, for sure. I think that it taught me that like you are not always gonna like the team cohesively, you have to put in work to make it work. And so I think like seeing that my parents are able to lead a group of people, including like putting themselves in the mix, like, and you're not going to get along with everybody. So I think it was super important to see that, and having them as role models was great.
What is something that they've taught you that you've carried into matches?
Oh, definitely that perspective thing. Mm-hmm. That was kind of what my dad and I used to like, it's kind of like simmer down the situation a little bit when I was in juniors. My dad is obviously really passionate about me playing, and sometimes it got to be a lot. So I think my junior and senior years of high school, I really like shifted my mentality into saying like, this is not going to affect the homework I have due tonight. And I need to show up and do my job. But at the end of the day, there's bigger things in life than this. So
yeah. So you're majoring in biology?
I am, yeah.
That is no joke. I have friends who are bio majors and they're in labs for 3-4 hours, in the homework and the exams. That's a lot.
It is.
How do you manage all of that?
Good question. I would say you just kind of like make it work. Like, I think a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings, a lot of figuring out when you can do work, a lot of, collaborate. It was nice because my roommate for the past 2 years, she was also like a science major and played on a sports team. So we had a lot of like things in common, but I would say it's just learning how to like, I guess, manage your time, make the most of the time that you do have, even though I still procrastinate. So haven't learned that one.
So do you see a future in healthcare research or something else?
Yeah, definitely research. I want to do like clinical research in like health equity, like that sort of thing. Like, so doing clinical trials in areas that like need it.
Interesting.
That's really what I'm like passionate about, but we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Well, speaking of school, you just told me right before we started recording that you studied abroad last semester. Where did you go?
Went to Greece.
Oh my gosh. I also went to Greece last spring, so we bonded really quickly. Tell me about your experience.
Oh my gosh. It was so much fun. It was a lot of fun. And I feel like it challenged me in ways that like I would not have been able to be challenged here. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about other people. It was great. I got to travel a bunch. It was awesome.
Where'd you go?
Oh my, we went a lot of places. We went to like obviously a lot of European countries. I would say my favorite place we went like in Europe was like Portugal. It was beautiful. And then we did Morocco, we did like Austria, Hungary, and Germany, and all London, lots of places. So,
what's your favorite Greek food?
Honestly, Greek salad. I think we ate so much of it because it was so easy and we were so not wealthy at the time. The money depletes quick.
It does. It really does. Like it's so bad.
It's really bad.
You become so broke so quick.
Yeah, we were like going to the grocery store. We were like, all right, I think like one of us can buy tomatoes and the other person, and we just would mash it all together. It was great. It was a good time.
I can't. Oh my gosh, what was I just going to ask you? Oh, did you pick up any of the language while you were there?
Not enough.
Honestly, same.
Very basic, like hello, goodbye.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the like experience, like I go to the grocery store and like I know they would ask me for a bag, and then they'd say like card or cash, and I knew how to like operate that. But other than that, no. I wish that was one thing that I did wish I kind of like did a little bit more of, was like language immersion.
Me too, and I'm 50% Greek, which is even worse. I didn't learn that much at all.
It's a complex language, though. I was thinking about taking the class, and then I didn't work with my schedule. But yeah, it's like totally different alphabet.
Did you take science classes while you were over there?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say
no.
How was that?
No, I took one nutrition class, and that was like enough work. But I took like all like electives, so it wasn't terrible. But I had friends that were in science classes there, and it seemed awful.
Yeah,
it was really bad.
Yeah, hell no, cannot be doing that. Okay, awesome. I'm so glad you got to do that.
Awesome.
I think about Greece all the time. Okay, let's pivot away from Greece. I could talk about it forever. Let's redirect to privilege and gratitude. So you talk about how playing and getting an education at the same time is such a privilege. When did that perspective really hit you?
I would say with my parents being in education, it was always kind of like, there was a big sense, like I was saying before, like academics are really big in my house.
Yeah.
But I think just experiencing, like I said, I did a lot of volunteering, throughout high school at different places. And I think just seeing how much an education like is a privilege, like the fact that we get to go here is awesome, and I think I take it for granted for sure. But I think with that privilege, like I always have to come back to the fact that I get to be here for an education, and the tennis is just an additional like feature that's also great.
Yeah. What keeps you grounded when things get overwhelming?
Honestly, just going back to like it's very like I keep saying the same thing. Just being grateful for what I have. Yeah. I think that like I try while I'm here to sometimes go volunteer. It's hard with like a busy schedule, but I think just seeing like what it's like 5 minutes down the street from here is so different, and just coming back and saying, wow, like just putting things into perspective as to like where I'm at, where I could be, and yeah, I think that keeps me very, very, very grounded.
Can you talk about your volunteer work? Where have you volunteered recently? What have you enjoyed doing?
Yeah. So my freshman year here, I volunteered at the VA hospital, just like right down the street. Yeah. And I worked with on like the spinal cord injury unit. And so I would go on Saturdays and I'd play ping pong actually with the guy who was like mostly paralyzed. And so his hands were like paralyzed. And so we would like wrap the like ping pong paddle like around his like hand, and we'd just play for like an hour, which was really, it was really cool to see like how he was able to like adapt the whole thing. And then recently I've been going to like Father Bill's. I think there's a tie to Stonehill in some sense. I don't really know, but that's just like kind of like a soup kitchen place, and like serving dinner and stuff, and just getting to interact with people that are in a totally different place than I am.
That's so awesome. Volunteer work is so important.
It is. And I feel like I don't do it enough. I wish I could do it more. But just always going back to like perspective.
Yeah. It makes you feel even more grateful.
It does. Yeah. For sure.
100%.
Yes.
Okay. Just some fun questions I have for you now. If tennis were taken away tomorrow, what part of it would you miss the most?
This is kind of an interesting answer, but I would say honestly, like the fact that it keeps me in shape without really me having to think about it. I kind of lost it a little bit in Greece, because there was no there's not a lot of tennis courts in Greece. I don't know if you ever there's none.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wow, like I really have to think about like working out and things. But I would say other than that, just like my teammates, if I was here, I think like that being gone would be like not fun to deal with.
Did you go to the American College of Greece when you were over there?
I did, yeah.
In Agia Pediskavi?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What building were you in?
I was in like living building.
Yeah.
I was in R1.
Oh, okay.
So
I was in R5.
Oh.
Which was a 20-minute walk away
I was
from
going to
campus.
say, yeah, we weren't that far. It was like, we were like at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah,
like,
right there.
We were right there, yeah.
Okay, I gotta stop talking about study abroad. I literally, when I tell you I could talk about it forever, I literally could. Anyway, what is something people misunderstand about tennis players?
Oh, I would say how physically challenging the sport is. I think a lot of times people like think that it's really easy. And I think that it can be if you're good, but I think it's a really physical sport because you're out there. It's not like soccer or basketball or anything where there's like a time limit. Like you could go on for however long you want and nobody's stopping you. So I think like putting that into perspective, it's like you be out there from anywhere from like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Yeah. So I think physically it's challenging, and then just keeping your mind intact for that long, I think without like knowing when it's going to end is also pretty difficult.
This might be a stupid question. Is it tough on your ankles? Because you're shifting your weight a lot.
I've never really experienced any issues like with that, but I did fracture my ankle when I was like younger from tennis, but that was just because I fell. I was clumsy.
What is the longest tennis match you've ever played in?
Oh, at this school, I think it was about 2.5 hours.
Just one match you were playing?
Yeah, that was just a singles match. And then I think overall, I'd have to like ask my parents, but probably my guess would be about 3 hours-ish, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long time.
You get tired after that?
Yes.
I would be fainted on the floor after that one. Oh, wait. That's a long time.
Yeah. It's a long time.
If tennis didn't exist, what sport do you think you'd be playing if it was lacrosse or a different sport?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't really know. Like lacrosse maybe, like it may probably not. To be honest, maybe like my sister swims, and I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah. But honestly, I've been watching the Winter Olympics, and I'm kind of mad like at my parents for like not putting me in these like niche sports. I was like, Dad, I could be out there like doing the skiing. He was like, no. No. But probably swimming, honestly.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I know the Winter Olympics, some of the sports, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I don't remember what the sport is where they're like literally on skis running up the mountain. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm watching them and I'm tired. I can't even.
Exactly, yes.
If your teammates had to describe your game style in one word, what do you think they would say?
I would say probably pretty physical. Like I would say I run around a lot. Out there, maybe consistent, it depends on the day, but definitely like physical. Like I feel like a lot of my matches are pretty like longer. I definitely use my movement a lot to like help me out there.
Yeah. As a senior now, how has your relationship with tennis changed over time?
Oh, good question. I would say that I think for me, tennis, like I finally kind of come to the point where I've realized that like tennis has brought me a lot of opportunities learning wise. It's brought me different places. Like I went 2 years ago, I guess 2 years in a row now, I went to China to play tennis.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of like crazy opportunity, but I would say just like it's brought me so much more. It's brought me people. It's brought me places. So I think that's probably the best thing that's like come out of it. But now being a senior, I'm like, wow, I've been doing this for a while. And a lot more has come out of it than I ever expected.
How was that trip and that experience?
It was really fun. It was really cool. It was very different, very much culture shock. We were there for about a week. So I went with people I didn't know. So like I flew over by myself, and then over there was a girl from Dartmouth, a girl from Tufts, a girl from Rutgers, and then there were 4 guys from like different places in the country. And then we went with like the head coach of Fordham and then the assistant coach at BU. So none of us knew each other or anything, but it was a really, really fun week. It was awesome. Lots of bonding. We still talk. So it's been cool. It was a really cool experience.
Do you consider yourself a very independent person? Because you said you went over there by yourself. You went to Greece by yourself. Did you know anyone coming here when you were moving here from Maryland?
No. I would say that's another thing that has taught me a lot coming here is independence.
Yeah.
Teaches you to definitely like rely on yourself because, like you said, I didn't know anybody there or Greece or here when I first came here. So I think it's definitely been a challenge at times, but yeah, definitely pretty independent.
Do you think it's made you stronger as a person?
Oh yeah. For sure. I think just being put in different situations where I was uncomfortable, especially Greece, I would say. Greece was probably the toughest one just because I didn't know anybody. And, you're there for a while. So it's like kind of got to figure it out. But it was good. Good time. Yeah.
Awesome. What do you want people to remember about Madison Warren as a competitor?
I would say just like attitude and just like the type of person that I am. I think, tennis means a lot to me, but I also, like I've kind of said the whole time, I don't want it to be my whole identity. And so I think just like, hopefully people know or get to know that I'm just a good person. And yeah, that's kind of the legacy I'd like to leave.
Nice. When you look back on these 4 years, what part of your growth are you the most proud of?
I would say probably the independence part, and then also just like learning about myself and other people. I think that like I've learned a lot about myself and also different people, and how to interact with people and how to make light of situations where it's not that fun because life isn't always fun. But I would say those are definitely the biggest things.
Yeah. And my last question for you. What is one piece of advice you would want to tell your freshman year self?
I would say be ready to grow, be ready for challenges because they're coming your way and you have to get through them, but eventually you'll see the growth and change in yourself.
That's so awesome. I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I had so much fun. Thank you guys for joining us today, and we will see you in the next episode.